Good evening, folks. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday evening. It's 10:09 in the UK. And yeah, I wanted to talk remakes tonight, horror remakes. But I wanted you guys to decide whether they're any good or not. So I had a couple of ideas with regards to voting. I'm not sure one will work. We can try it to start with. I'm not. Let's do a test for a vote. So if I just put remake and mistake here and stick this in the chat, right? You guys can see that now. If you click on remake or mistake, can you then remove your vote? Can you just let me know in the chat if that can be done? If you can remove your vote so that we can then reset and do the next lot, then we'll stick to this version. If not, we'll do a simple thumbs up in the chat or a thumbs down, and I'll count them, and that's how we'll decide whether it's a genuine remake or a genuine mistake. Have a play around with it. Let me know. Obviously, you can see that this is well organized. Thank you so much for joining us. I've just off the back of watching Dave's stream earlier on, which was really good. He hit a few milestones. Got to 56% on his campaign now with a month to go, which is fantastic. He also hit 30,000 viewers tonight. 30,000 subs tonight, which is also great. Tony says, I can't remove it. Can't remove it. Okay, we'll can that idea and we'll use a simple thumb up or a thumb down as to whether you think it's a decent remake or not. But yeah, no, Dave was talking about the Friday the 13th commercial movie, whatever you want to call it, the 13-minute vignette that the Jason universe brought out. I watched it last night. Oh, sorry, no, I watched it this morning on my way into work. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. It was hilarious watching some of the comments, some of the chat room comments there. People calling it woke, an abomination, an embarrassment. They should just call it quits now. It was 13 minutes, and it was tied into a product. I just thought, you know what? It looked fine to me. I'm not going to get upset about it. Look, if it was a longer movie, then maybe, you know, you could question things, but there's only so much you can cram into the 13 minutes. And for what I could see, I thought they did a fairly good job. It also feels like to me, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, it also feels like to me like a bit of a toe dip. We know there are certain legal parameters that they have to fit within in order to produce these movies. And I wonder if this was a bit of a toe dip, a bit of a kind of legal toe dip to see what happens. You know, obviously it's funded by somebody else as well, so they're not kind of wasting any money. It's only out on YouTube. I guess they've monetized it. Maybe they haven't. Maybe it's they're not monetizing it, so they're not earning any money off it whatsoever. So, you know, they can't be, if there is an issue, they can't be, I guess, sued for any profits they might make from it. But it'll be interesting to see if there is any comeback on this. Because I do get the feeling that they're maybe just testing the waters to see what various lawyers think. But yeah, overall, I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I thought the gore was great. I just wish Jason would have been I know he's a big dude. He's a tall dude. He's kind of lankier, though, than I expected. He's 6'6". I just needed him to be bulked out a little bit more Ted White, a little bit more Richard Brooker. And then he probably would have had that little bit more presence. But yeah, it was fine, and I didn't think it was half as bad as what a lot of people were claiming. It's got me, as Chris said, Chris Stanley's in the chat at the moment. I watched his video this morning after I watched it, and he's intrigued about what they might do, you know. So that's how I feel. I feel intrigued about what's coming next. Let's say hello to a few people in the chat. So we have so far, let's have a look. 43 of you here at the moment. Alan Meggs is here. Hey, Alan, how you doing? Nick, Chester Franklin, John Jones, Duke Fleed, Daz. Daz was in the other chat earlier on. Tony Four Eyes is here. Blake's here. Cosplay Chris is here. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for joining. Shamrock Balls is here. Good to see you, David. Brandon's here. Andrew Stevens, White Rose, Nick. Who else have we got? Joshua, Rick M, Noah Smith, Flicks and Pixels. Hey, Dave, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hopefully going to do a little collab with Dave from Flicks and Pixels pretty soon. There wasn't a poll, Andrew. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to start that in a second. So let's move on to this. I've got, I think, around about 33 horror remakes. I left a couple out because I hadn't seen them. I think there is one in here which I haven't seen, which I'll be honest about when we get to it. I just haven't had the time to watch it. But let's switch over to this sharing screen here. I've left them in alphabetical order, I think, pretty much in alphabetical order. And so what we'll do is I'll talk about the remake a little bit, and then I'll ask you to vote. Don't vote until I ask you to, because I can't keep up with the thumbs up. And Eli Cortez says, don't forget to slash that like button and sub to the awesome channel. Thank you very much, Eli. Yeah, don't vote until I ask you to, folks, because it'll make it difficult for me to catch the thumbs up and thumbs down and all that kind of thing. So, hey, Marisol Jovi, good to see you. Big fan of TSL Movie podcast is Marisol. Okay, so we're going to start with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, the remake. Released on April 30th, 2010. Directed by Samuel Bayer, who I think did a lot of music videos around that time. Jackie Earle Haley, Rooney Mara. A budget of 35 million and a box office of 117 million worldwide, which technically makes it the highest grossing in the franchise. Technically. Rotten Tomato scores very low, 14 to 15%, apparently. A remake of the 1984 original. Teenagers in Springwood, Ohio share a childhood trauma that catches the attention of Freddy Krueger, who stalks and kills them in their dreams. They must uncover their links and find a way to stop him. Okay, folks, right. Do you think this is a genuinely good remake, or is it a genuine mistake? Thumbs up or thumbs down in the chat now, and let's see what you guys think. I have to wait a second for it to come round because there is a little bit of a delay. I'll just have a little. Shamrock Ball says this is an easy one. Jackie Earle Haley was a great choice. He was. I thought he made it his own, and you know, it was kind of. Look, there we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all with the thumbs down at the moment. Yeah, can't even see one thumb up here. No thumbs up at all. I think it's safe to say that that Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 is a genuine mistake and belongs at the bottom there. Oh, Zoe Kavanaugh's in the middle with that. It's not going to make a difference. Everybody's done a thumbs down on this one. I should stress as well that you don't have to think that it's, in order for it to be a good remake, it doesn't have to be better than the original. It can be respectable. And so you can still give it a thumbs up. If you think it's a good movie, give it a thumbs up. If it's a bad movie, thumbs down. I'm not looking for the remake to have outdone the original here, because we can all pick those out straight away, which ones those are. It's just whether you feel it's a good movie or not. Zoe says, yeah, it's a 5 out of 10 for me. Oh, that's okay. Daz says, don't hate it. Did at the time, but still a thumbs down. Did somebody put a... Yeah. Zoe, is that a gun symbol? That's what Shamrock's asking. Okay, let's move on to the next choice, which is Black Christmas 2006, released on December the 20th. They released this on Christmas Day 2006. This is what I don't get about when they released. Black Christmas 2019 was released about 5 days before Christmas. With Christmas movies, Once December 26 arrives, you're done. No one goes to see a Christmas movie after Christmas. So with Christmas movies, technically you should be releasing them at the end of November or throughout the early part of December, not on Christmas Day, because your audience, you've killed it when you get to December the 26th. But yeah, this was apparently released on December the 25th, 2006. A budget of 9 million. This is the '06 version, by the way. I'm not going to do the 2019 version because we all know that that one is a definite thumbs down throughout. Set on Christmas Eve, a killer stalks sorority sisters in their home, a gore-heavy but criticised remake with little innovation and predictably low ratings despite modest returns. So it had a box office of 21.5 million worldwide on a 9 million budget. So probably broke even and maybe went into a little bit of profit over the years. Okay, so vote now, folks. I can already see a couple of thumbs downs there. Kingslayer is a bit behind, says A Nightmare on Elm Street remake was a massive mistake. Tony 4i says a lot of these are going to be thumbs down due to the original. Well, no, I don't want you to necessarily think it's better than the original, because, you know, I can look at a few of them here and they're not better than the original, but they are good remakes. I'd still give it a thumbs up. Okay, so this is a bit more mixed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, this is a bit more balanced. Hey, Pat, how's it going, dog? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm seeing more thumbs down on this one for sure. I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely more thumbs down on this one. Again, folks, just as a reminder, it doesn't have to be better than the original. It's just, is it a decent remake or not? I went to the cinema to see this, and I can't remember it. I'll be honest with you, I cannot remember watching it. I know I went with my wife, or my girlfriend as it was then, but I just don't remember seeing this film whatsoever. We'll put it in there as a genuine mistake. Okay. Daz says, I'm neither up or down for it. Okay, well, if you want to abstain, that's fair enough. Did I freeze? Oh, I hope not. Oh, no, I was just kind of staring, I think. Studying the numbers, studying the thumbs. Okay, right. Next, we have, from 2013, we have Carrie. Remember, doesn't have to be better than the original, but is it a good remake or not? Released on October the 18th, 2013, but it premiered on October the 7th in the ArcLight in Hollywood. Directed by Kimberly Pierce with Chloe Grace Moretz, Julianne Moore, Judy Greer, Ansel Elgort, and Alex Russell. A budget of 30 million, a domestic North American box office of 35.3 million, and an international box office of 49.5. So it made 84.8 million. So it was kind of a hit. Kind of a hit. I can see people voting already. A modern reimagining of Stephen King's classic, shy teen Carrie White is tormented by peers and oppressed by a fanatically religious mother. After a humiliating prom prank captured and shared via cyberbullying, Carrie unlocks her telekinetic powers, unleashes tragic vengeance. Okay, so Max Dela Cruz, I'm gathering that you are... You voted thumbs down there. Okay, so... Okay, we have one thumb up so far. Folks, get those thumbs into the chat. One thumb up so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dylan says horrid film. Batshit, no, no, no. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they're remaking Carrie again. I think it's a TV series this time. Am I right? I think. Boring. It was okay for me. I don't mind a lot of these remakes at all. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick count up again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 13 versus 5, I make it. So yeah, another genuine mistake for Carrie. Alan Meg says, did its own thing while being respectful to the original. Yeah, I agree. I had the pleasure of being involved with this in my day job, and I didn't mind it. I thought it was, for what they did, they brought together a really good cast. Of course, it's not as good as the original, but I thought for 2013, I thought it was okay. I wouldn't go mad. They remake Carrie every few years. Yeah, there's been a couple, haven't there? There was a TV series beforehand, I think, before this one that's coming now. There was obviously the Chloe Grace Moretz one. There was also Carrie the Rage, I think, as well. There you go. Even the Rage Carrie 2 was better than the remake. Okay, you thought that? Okay, cool. Tony Four Eye says, I don't think anything is going in the top section, Darren. Well, it won't be with you, miserable buggers. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's move on to Child's Play 2019, released on June the 21st. Main stars were Aubrey Plaza, Brian Tyree Henry, Mark Hamill, who was the voice of Chucky. Was he called Chucky in this? Yeah, he was. Yeah. Chucky gets a makeover as a high-tech AI doll gone rogue. Aubrey Plaza fights to save her child from its killer behaviors. A tech-savvy take on the classic, balancing nostalgia with a modern twist. Okay, a 9 to 10 million budget and a box office of around about 45 million worldwide. I know it was a complete disaster in the UK. Okay, what do you think? Vote now, folks. Pat, I'm guessing you're voting for Child's Play with a thumb up there. 4 thumbs down, 2 up. 5 down. From batshit. 5-3. 6-3. 7-3. 8-3. John Jones says, actually like this movie. I work in tech and love the idea of a malicious code causing an AI doll to go berserk. Okay, I've lost count of the thumbs now, so let me just start again. So we have... where was Pat? Where was Pat? Where is Pat? Pat, have you deleted your message there? Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 3. This is pretty even. This is pretty even. Look at the thumbs up here. I think the thumbs up just have it. Evil Alex says it's not even Chucky, just AI going bad. If it wasn't called Child's Play, people would be less harsh to it, says Daz. Child Play remake was watchable, says Rick. People forget that the original Carrie... Oh, we're on... Alan's talking about Carrie there. Chucky voiced by the Joker. Awful thumbs down. Should have been called the Chuckinator. What a load of shite, says Flicks and Pixels. Is that bottom section going to be long enough? Well, I make it that actually here, I think Child's Play might have won out. I'm just going to do a final tally. It moves so fast as this chat. Let me go over to this one and count them here. Okay. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I make 14 thumbs up. And 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 thumbs down. So Carrie actually does win out. Sorry, not Carrie. Child's Play actually does win out as a genuinely okay remake, I guess. It's going in the top. Daz says also Audrey Plaza is a hotter mom. Okay. Paul Rose says The Fly, The Thing, and It are the only ones I'd put in the top. Dawn of the Dead is a notable mention. Most are trash. Okay. It doesn't have to, like Paul, it doesn't have to be better than the original. It just has to be a, you know, a reasonably decent watch. Eli says, I think people are sitting on those thumbs up if they think this was good. Well, you know, just because people think differently to you doesn't mean that they're right or wrong, or you're right or wrong. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is the Dawn of the Dead remake. Personally, I would certainly give this a thumbs up. I don't think it's better than the original, but I do think it is a really decent remake. Released in March 2004, directed by Zack Snyder. Who were the main stars now? We had, oh my God, Ving Rhames was in there, wasn't he? And the guy who played Max Headroom, he was in there as well. Budget approximately 26 million, box office of 102.3 million worldwide, certified fresh at 77%. A fast-paced modern reboot of Romero's classic. Survivors take refuge in a suburban mall as zombies overrun the world. Snyder's version delivers gore, tension, and social subtext. Let's see your votes now, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 thumbs up so far. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we've only got 2 thumbs down so far that I can see. 12, 13, 14. Yeah, safe to say that this is going in the top tier. 2004's Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. Okay, this next one's going to be interesting. Look, there's plenty of thumbs up there. Yeah, it was pretty obvious that this one was going to go at the top. Okay, next, released on February the 13th, 2009. This one's going to be interesting. I would give it a thumbs up, even though I actually do think it's a better looking and better structured movie than the original. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I'm not a massive fan of the original Friday the 13th. I've explained why plenty of times. Directed by Marcus Nispel, who was also, as we know, responsible for the Texas Chainsaw remake. Stars Jared Padalecki, Daniel Panabaker, Aaron Yu, Andre Rigetti, Travis Van Winkle, Derek Mears as Jason Voorhees. Budget of 19 million and made around about 92 to 92.7 million worldwide. Okay, let's vote on the Friday the 13th remake, folks. A reboot blending elements from the early Friday the 13th films. Clay searches for his missing sister only to comfort Jason Voorhees at Camp Crystal Lake. A slick, brutal update with little innovation. Okay. Deshaun says, oh, this movie is stupendous, Darren. I know. Let me just count those there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at all the thumbs up for this. There's a lot of fans. A lot of fans for the remake. Zoe says, I don't see it as a remake, more as just another entry. A solid slasher with good kills. This has surprised me. I didn't realize that. I thought I was on my own with this, thinking that it was an okay movie. Derek Mears ties with Richard Brooker as my favorite Jason. Can't beat the original for its corniest and for its animal cruelty. Great remake, great kills in this one. Is it fair to say that we've all kind of grown to like it over the last 15, 16 years? Because I wasn't a fan when it first came out. It's only on subsequent watches that I've, really come to appreciate it. I think I can only see 1 thumbs down for this. That's amazing. That's amazing. Fat Bookie, you're on your own. Alan says, very well made movie, and I agree with you about the original. Yeah. Yeah, the original is... yeah, just annoying, the fact that it... I'm going to say it again, but plays out as a whodunit, but never give you a clue as to who might have done it. Marcus Nispel remade 3 great films, Texas Friday and Pathfinder, with Carl Urban. Conan was trash by him, though. I'm just going to turn my aircon off 1 second. There we go. I think it was interfering with the mic a little bit. Okay, so Friday the 13th is going right up at the top. Who'd have thunk it? Okay, so moving on to... and this is going to be a difficult one as well, I think. 2011's Fright Night, released on August the 14th, 2011. I think its premiere was at Fright Fest in London. Craig Gillespie was the director. Anton Yelchin, obviously he's passed away now. Colin Farrell played Jerry Dandridge. Tony Collette, Imogen Poots, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and David Tennant. 30 million budget, and went on to gross approximately 41 million worldwide. Vote now, folks. Let me know what you think of the Fright Night remake. High schooler Charlie Brewster discovers that... Let me just put my marker there. High schooler Charlie Brewster discovers that his new neighbor Jerry Dandridge is a centuries-old vampire preying on the community. With no one believing him, Charlie enlists the help of a washed-up horror TV host, leading to a showdown filled with scares and unexpected humor. Okay, so 2 down, 1 up, 2 up, 3 down, 3 up, 4 up, 4 down. Oh, this is very... This is level at 6 apiece at the moment. 7 up, 8 up. Any more votes? 9 up, 10 up. Come on, we've got 10 versus 6 at the moment, I can see. And 66 people watching at the moment, which is terrific. Thank you, guys. 10-6, 10-7, 10-8, 10-9. Ooh, it's getting close. Any more takers for Fright Night? It's 10-9 in favor of Fright Night being a genuine remake. 10-9. Okay, we'll call it there then. There's no more votes. We'll call it there. Fright Night is a decent remake. Let's see what some of the comments were like there. Paul Rose says, I've only watched it once, wasn't overly impressed, kind of sick of remakes. I'd rather have continuations or standalones. Okay. Fright Night remake was unnecessary. I've enjoyed all the Fright Night films, says Rick M. Yeah, they've just announced a really cool steelbook for the UK, which I'm looking forward to getting. Never watched this. Hated the original Fright Night. Really? Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Frank and I did an episode on it about 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I hadn't seen it for years. I used to watch it a lot in the 80s, but I hadn't seen it for such a long time, and I really enjoyed visiting it again. Okay. Brandon says, this is a film I really remember liking. I still prefer the original by a wide margin, but this is enjoyable. Yeah, I agree. Kill Shield says, bite me. Thumbs down. Kenneth says, didn't like Evil Ed, but I dug the movie as a whole. Okay. Right. Okay. We're on to Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007. Don't vote yet, folks. Let me just go through a bit of the info here. Released on August 31st, 2007. Directed by Rob Zombie, stars Malcolm McDowell, Scout Taylor Compton, Tyler Main, Sherry Moon Zombie, Brad Dourif, Daniel Harris, and William Forsythe. Jesus, yeah, William Forsythe. A budget of 15 million, a box office of 80.4 million in total, and the Rotten Tomatoes score is approximately... No, that's not right. 10 to 20%? Is that really? Okay, we'll leave that out because I don't think that's right. I think it's higher than that. Okay, vote now, folks. Halloween 2007, Rob Zombie's Halloween. acceptable remake, or is it a mistake? It does have its fan base. An origin-focused remake, it explores Michael Myers' childhood and delves deeper into his psyche and motive. After escaping, Myers returns to Haddonfield 16 years later to terrorize Laurie Strode and friends. Okay, right. Let's have a look. 1 up, 2 up, 1 down, 2 down, 2 down, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 6, 3, 7, 3, 8, 3, 9, 3. I'm going to do that again because I lost count there. Okay, 1, 2 down, 2 up. So that's 2, 2. 3 down, 4 down, 5 down. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's pretty mixed. 12. Ooh, 13, 14, 15. I think it just goes to a genuinely okay remake. Let me just count the downs again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. People on the whole think it's a decent remake. Let me just put it at the top. More of you like Rob Zombie's Halloween than dislike it. Okay, fair enough. Let's see what some of the comments were. Daniel Harris alone gives this a thumbs up, says Andrew. Great Myers and Loomis, horrible script and dialogue. I agree on that. Though it's gone down in my opinion over the thumbs up, though it's gone down in my opinion over the years. Love this movie, can't help. Rob did a great job, says John Jones. Steaming pile of cow dung, says Alan Meggs. Bloody awful, says Rick. Flicks and Pixels, I didn't think it was that bad. It's more of a prequel than a remake, though, isn't it? I agree. Zoe said theatrical cut only, otherwise a thumbs down. Yeah, that's rough, is that director's cut. The opening is rough, but it gets better. Lots of cool ideas, but sometimes messy. Used to hate Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I don't mind it. There are bits of it that I really do like. There are bits of it that I absolutely despise. It's not my Halloween. It's not my Michael Myers. But, you know, I don't blame him for trying something different. You don't like the hillbilly trash part of it. I agree that it doesn't feel at all like it's in the Halloween universe with that tone, but it's passable, says Kenneth. Is Frank pissed? No, he's a fan of. He likes Rob Zombie's Halloween. Okay, yeah. So a genuine remake. Everybody thought these were going to be on the bottom, but you guys are putting them at the top. We're now 5 of the remakes I've talked about are considered genuine remakes, and 3 of them are considered genuine mistakes. So let's move on to House of Wax from 2005. I mean, we know that it's not as good as the original because the original's fantastic. Jaume Collet-Serra, who's now a big director now, does all sorts of things, can turn his hand to any genre, this director. Paris Hilton, Chad Michael Murray, Elijah Cuthbert, Brian Van Holt. Don't vote just yet, folks. 40 million budget and a box office of 36.7 million internationally, 32.1 million domestic. So around about 70 million at the box office globally. Vote now, folks. House of Wax 2005. Is this a genuine remake or a mistake? Remember, it doesn't have to be better than the original. It just has to be a movie that you can appreciate watching. Okay. Yeah, I hear good things about Alien Earth, Paul. A friend of mine just watched a couple of episodes and said it was good. And Frank enjoyed it a lot as well. Not that Frank's not a friend, but you know what I mean. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like this one's going to do it as well. We only have 1 thumbs down. At the moment, 2, sorry. 3 now. Okay, so this is also a worthy remake. Moving it up to the top. So have a look at some of the comments there. John Jones had a blast with this movie, despite how very 2000 it is compared to the OG being timeless, but I love it. Rewatch it every October with my wife. Paris Hilton being killed always gets a pop. Yeah, I always seem to remember that, and it's a while since I've seen it. Isn't there a bit where she puts her hands through like a drain or something like that? She's in underground and she puts her hands up and the killer like snips her finger off with some pliers or something. Yeah, I remember that being pretty nasty. It's more like Tourist Trap remake. Okay, interesting. Tony says, I love House of Wax remake. Who doesn't enjoy seeing Miss Hilton disposed of? House of Wax is decent. Daz says, just thought it was too dull. Nice concept, though, with the town of Wax. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Solid remake, good atmosphere. Marisol Jovi says, I don't mind House of Wax remake. Rick M, I didn't hate House of Wax remake, but still can't give it a thumbs up. Brandon Collins says, and Frank enjoyed it. Very funny. Okay. Moving on. Wow. Okay, like now, I Spit on Your Grave, the 2010 remake. Directed by Stephen Armano. Don't vote yet, folks. Main stars Sarah Butler, Jeff Branson, Andrew Howard, Daniel Franzese, and Tracy Walter. No budget available, no box office available. I seem to think it went straight to streaming, did I Spit on Your Grave. It did spawn another 2 sequels on top of this. I think there were 3 of them in total, which then triggered Miyazaki to do a sequel to his original. So another 3 movies came out because of this remake. Okay, vote now, folks. Let me know whether you think I Spit on Your Grave was better than the original. I'm not a fan of the original. I actually prefer the remake. But that's not saying much. A remake of the notorious 1978 video Nasty. A writer is brutally attacked, then seeks relentless revenge on her assailants. Raw, brutal, and morally divisive. Okay, thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just get those thumbs up in first. We've got 5 at the moment. A lot of people abstaining on this one. Six, 7. Kingslayer's laughing at it. Frank says it's a family movie. Okay, a lot of people not voting on this one. I guess it's because you haven't watched it. Or you don't want to admit you've watched it. Okay, so thumbs down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4 thumbs down. Thanks, Dave. So, from those of you that voted, and I'll call it here, it looks like the majority of you feel that I Spit on Your Grave was a better remake, was a worthy remake. I think it's a better film than the original, because the original's just awful. Very difficult watch. So is this one, but not as difficult. Not as difficult. Yeah, Kenneth. Yeah, the arsehole rifle. Eek. Yeah, that's a nasty old scene. Okay. Wow. This has surprised me, and I think it surprised a lot of you guys as well, because people were making so many comments at the start saying that the bottom column wasn't going to be long enough for this. But at the moment, the majority of you are favouring these movies as being watchable, decent remakes. Let me just have a look at the comments in this one. John Jones says, great revenge film. Bob the Goon being in this makes it even better. Kenneth says it was gnarly. Daz says, only watch this because my mum had it on when I visit. What? Your mum had it on when you visited her? It's better than the original, so that alone gives a thumbs up in comparison. Well, they do fancy themselves as feminist movies, don't they, a lot of the time? I agree, Darren. Remake is better. Zoe says it's okay, better than the original. I Spit on Your Grave, says Don Mac. I just rewatched this a few weeks ago, so still fresh in my head. The sequel to the original, I Spit on Your Grave, is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yeah, talk to Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards about that. He was like utterly offended by that film, more so than the original, I think. Daz says, never knew there was a sequel to the original. Sure, it's not just a title slapped onto it. No, it isn't. It's actually, he actually went back and brought Camille Keaton back. Bit of trivia. Yeah, the girl from the original I Spit on Your Grave is Buster Keaton's niece, I believe. He brought her back for the sequel, which was filmed, I think, which was made about 6 or 7 years ago. But it's around about 3 hours long and utterly unwatchable. I've never watched it. I started to watch it and I just turned it off. Not because it was like, because of the content. It was just such a bad movie. And Barry, I remember Barry doing a review for it, and it's actually quite funny. If you watch his review, I've never seen him so offended about a movie just because of how poor it is, not because of the content. Okay. Brandon says, never saw this remake. The original is hard enough to get through. It is. It is. This one's an easier one to get through. The payoffs are significantly better than they are in the original. Okay, so moving on to 2017, released on September the 8th, directed by Andy Muschietti, starring Jaden Lieberher, Bill Skarsgård, Sophia Lillis, Finn Wolfhard, Jack Dylan Grazer, Wyatt Oleff, Jeremy, lots of kids. It is It. Don't vote yet, folks. 117.2 million domestic opening weekend with 62 million international, totaling 179.2 million globally. Eventually grossed 236.3 million in North America and became the highest grossing horror film, unadjusted, of all time. Approximately 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Vote now, folks. Do you think It is a worthy sequel? Is it decent? Do you prefer the original? I don't know. Let me know in the comments there. But if you think this is a decent movie, if you think it's a genuine remake, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I'm guessing this is going to be a lot of thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've only got one thumbs down so far. Only one thumbs down. Big thumbs up for It, says Marisol. Evil Alex says he prefers the remake. You know what? I wouldn't disagree with that. I actually went back to the original a couple of years ago and I found it really difficult to watch. All that stuttering that Richard Thomas does, it's just kind of a bit... much more entertaining than the TV series, says. I mean, this is an overall win, is this one. Thumbs up across the board for this. Much more entertaining than the TV series, says Paul, although Pennywise by Curry is still a classic characterization. Yeah, I think the best thing about the original It is Tim Curry. Without him, the film, I don't think, is very good at all. He makes that movie. Every time he's on screen, You can't take your eyes off him. The rest of the film, I think some of the performances are terrible in it. Evil Alex says, prefer the remake, actually. Don Mac, if remake part 1 is a lot better than part 2. Flicks and Pixels says it's decent, but doesn't compare to Tim Curry's Clown. Hate the remake. Prefer Tim Curry version million times more, says Kingslayer. Bill is a very good Pennywise, says Evil Alex. Mark Wainwright says, better than the original, but Tim Curry is a better Pennywise. Curry nails it, says Fat Bucky. He does. But you guys think that this is a decent, genuine remake. So it's going across the top there. This is really surprising me. Okay, let's see what you think about this film if you've seen it. 2012's Maniac, directed by Frank Calhoun. This is the Elijah Wood version of Maniac, if you've seen it. Kind of similar themes to the original film, but a very different remake stylistically. Doesn't really follow the same narrative as the original Maniac movie. William Lustig, I think, directed the original one, didn't he? With Joe Spinell. But yeah, the Maniac remake. Vote now, folks, if you think it's better than the original. I think it was 1980 version directed by Bill Lustig. John Jones says, to be fair, Tim Curry is the best thing about most stuff he's in. I agree with that. Shamrock Ball says, the stuttering is in the book. I think part 2 hurts the original, in my opinion, which is why I prefer the miniseries. Okay. Best part of OG is Tim Curry, but rest is just not that good. Okay, so we're on to Maniac now. Thumbs up come from Evil Alex. Zoe Kavanagh, love the first-person view and the synthwave score. Has a great style. Elijah Wood is great and creepy. Yeah, the score is great. Elijah Wood is great and creepy. Maniac was awesome. Through the Killer's Eyes was a great gimmick for the remake. Yeah. Frodo really surprised me. I think he surprised a lot of people with this film. I think this was the first film where we realized that Elijah Wood has a bit of an obsession for horror. It was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's still a sleazy little film, but I don't think it's quite as sleazy as the original. But yeah, it seems to be across those of you that have seen it, it seems to be a thumbs up. In fact, I can't see a thumbs down on this one. I think generally when it came out, it was really highly praised. But not widely seen, I don't think. So we're going to put Maniac across the top as well. Another movie here that you guys categorize as a genuine remake. Right. Moving on to 2009. Jan 16, 2009. I remember going to see this in 3D on the opening weekend. A budget of 14 to 15 million. Took 100 million worldwide. It was quite a success. And I think it was all down to the 3D gimmick. So My Bloody Valentine 3D, folks. Vote now if you are a person that feels that this was a fairly decent remake. Remember, it doesn't have to be better than the original. Talking about Maniac here, Paul H says, never seen the remake, so one for the watch list. The OG is nasty. Shamrock says, I love the original Maniac. Yeah, there's some good old Savini moments in the original. There's something that makes me feel filthy watching it, though, every time I watch it. I mean, which isn't a lot, but each time I have watched it, I've probably seen it about 3 or 4 times. Tony says he was better than he was in Green Street. When he was filming Green Street, I went out at lunchtime to buy a shirt. And there was a shirt shop on Carnaby Street that I went to go to, and it was closed. They shut the shop just for him. Like he was being escorted around, Elijah Wood being escorted around shopping, but they closed the whole shop. Like I was going to bother him or something. I had to go somewhere else. Anyway, My Bloody Valentine remake is started. Right, let's start counting these. Let's have a look now. Okay, so we'll start with Tony Four Eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a fan, says Duke Fleed. Paul H likes it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I'm counting 12 so far on the thumbs up. Thumbs down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 12v7 at the moment. 77 of you watching. Thank you, folks, for joining. Thank you very much. If you could hit that like button, that would really help the channel. And also, if you haven't subscribed, then it'd be great if you could consider it. Really appreciate that. So, I think it's okay as a remake. I mean, I love the original so much that I think I've watched the remake twice. The original I've watched loads of times. I own it on 4K up there. A really lovely Scream Factory special edition. But I would I give it a thumbs up? I don't think I would. I don't think it's aged well because of that 3D gimmick with people sticking things up your nose every 5 seconds. But yeah, it's won this vote. There we go. People tend to like My Bloody Valentine. Let's have a look at the... Fat Boogie says, got to go to work, so I'd just like to vote for the Fog remake to be an absolute disgrace. And to quote you, Darren, it should be deleted. We'll get to it, buddy. We'll get to it. But thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. John Jones says, fun movie. It's our date movie every Valentine's Day. The remake is? Okay. Kingslayer says it's Tosh. Tony says they didn't overdo the 3D. They did a little bit. When you watch it now, there's still a little bit of poking around and things like that. Not as bad as Friday the 13th 3D, mind you. Schlocky Fun, says Rick. Frankly speaking, says God Awful. Thank you, Frank. Atkins Rules, says Pat. Full frontal chase scene makes it. Was there a full frontal chase scene in this? I'm trying to remember now. Actually, maybe there was. Maybe there was. It's a little while since I've looked at it. The movie, I mean. Chester says, I like My Bloody Valentine remake, but I like the original more. And White Rose says, original My Bloody Valentine 4K Steelbook is $13 right now on Scream Factory. Mine on its way. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've not got the Steelbook, but I have got the 4K version. And Don Max says, I should see the remake again. I just remember hating it when it came out. Okay, so next is Pet Sematary. Personally, I would give this a thumbs up. I don't think it's as good as the original. But there are 1 or 2 moments in this film that really creeped me out. Released on April the 5th, 2019. A 20 million budget and 113 million box office worldwide. Vote now, folks, if you think Pet Sematary is a genuine remake. Daz says, I think genuine remake is going to win. I don't know. There's some pretty awful stuff coming up. Yeah, I can see 1 or 2 here that might give the genuine mistake couple a little bit of catching up. Okay, so I'm going to start with the thumbs down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1 or 2 of you not liking this film. Pet Sematary, folks. 2019 it came out. Brandon says never saw it. It's not a bad watch, Brandon. It's not a bad watch. It's worth it for the closing shot of the film, which I think is genuinely really unsettling. Okay, let's have a look at the thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And thumbs down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any more takers for Pet Sematary? I think this is a thumbs down, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 6. Okay, we'll call it there. You guys think Pet Sematary? I would have given it a thumbs up because I actually didn't mind it. I remember going to a screening in the West End of London and thinking, you know what, this isn't bad. Put that there at the bottom. It's a genuine mistake. Yeah, there's a few more thumbs down coming in at the moment. Okay, let's move on to. I don't have to really big this one up in any way. Poltergeist 2015, directed by Gil Kennan, who did such an amazing job on Monster House, the animated movie. Fantastic film. Was also writer on Ghostbusters Afterlife. Also directed Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which was... but yeah, in 2015, he directed a remake to Poltergeist with Sam Rockwell, Rosemary DeWitt, Jared Harris, and Jane Addams. A budget of $35 million, box office of $95.4 million worldwide. Vote now. Let me know whether you think Poltergeist was a genuine remake. Personally, I think it's fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. He dropped the ball hugely with this. A modern family moves into a suburban home only to experience escalating paranormal activity when their daughter disappears. They must uncover and confront the malevolent spirits inhabiting the house. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Simon Harding, is that like, what's that? You in the middle with that? It is. It's everybody's agreeing this is a dud, a complete dud. Unfortunately, let's move it up there now. There's no way that this can be. Let's put that there. A genuine mistake. So, at the moment, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in genuine remake, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the genuine mistake. Okay, Psycho. 1988. Sorry, 1998. My mistake. Psycho, 1998. December the 4th, this was released. Directed by Gus Van Sant, Vince Vaughn, and what was it? Anne Hesh, I think it was, wasn't it? 37% on Rotten Tomatoes. Vote now. Vote now, folks, if you think Psycho was a genuine remake. As I said before, doesn't have to be better than the original. If you enjoyed it, if you thought it was decent, it got on your tits, whatever it did, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Frank says, I would rather be haunted than watch this crap again with Poltergeist. Okay, on Psycho, Mark Wainwright says, it's pointless, but I can enjoy it. Interesting. Tony says, Psycho is just a colour version of the original. I'm waiting for a slew of thumbs down to come in here. There's literally, how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 1, 2, 3 thumbs up at the moment. Oh, 4. I forgot Mark's there. 7, 4, 8, 4, 9, 4. Evil Alex said, Psycho remake is horrendous. Zoe says, I enjoy Psycho 98. Pointless but interesting. Yeah, the thing with it is, it's not a bad film but you've got the original to compare it to. And the fact that he did it shot for shot pretty much just it just kind of, there's no innovation there whatsoever, apart from the fact it's in color. So it was just an absolutely pointless movie. And such a great director as well that just kind of, wasted the opportunity. Yeah. Hugely thumbs down is Psycho 1998. So let's move that to the bottom. Currently 10-6. Okay, right, folks. This next film I haven't seen. It's Salem's Lot. Came out last year. I think it was last year. Yeah, late last year, I think it was. In the US, it was straight to your streaming services. Over here, it was in the cinema. It came out in the cinema for a brief period. Yeah, theatrical release in UK and Ireland on October the 11th. The critical reception had mixed reviews, praised for style and select performances, but criticised for lacking suspense, depth, and emotional weight. Vote now, okay, if you think Salem's Lot 2024 was a decent watch. Calm yourself, White Rose. I am not reading that out. Not seen it, says Evil Alex. Daz just laughs. Tony Four Eye says, yeah, it came out for about a week. It did, and then it disappeared. Author Ben Mears, Lewis Pullman, returns to his childhood town of Jerusalem's Lot, searching for inspiration. He soon discovers the sleepy community is prey to vampiric forces. A retro-styled compact adaptation retaining the 1970s setting. This version trades slow-building dread for sharper shock and CGI-laden vampire spectacle. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 thumbs down, 1 thumb up so far. Don Mac says, haven't seen Salem's Lot, so I'm abstaining. Never seen either Salem's Lot. Also stopped reading the books. I've not seen this one either, says Rick M. Tony Four, I said I had tickets to see this, but got stuck in traffic and missed it. Paul says, haven't seen it. Trailer looked decent. TV series is boring apart from Barlow. Classic underused vampire. You mean the original TV series? The original Salem's Lot movie? Okay. I think it's about to get a 4K special edition. I think it's on the horizon. Yeah, looks like most people here are giving it the thumbs down. 1, 2. I can see 2 thumbs up. The book is great, says Shamrock. Yeah, it's always cited as being one of King's best novels, isn't it? Still got to watch this one. The book is fantastic, says Tony. Yeah, so thumbs down for Salem's Lot. Let's put that on the bottom. So genuine mistakes are catching up, folks. We've got 10 versus 7. Let's see if Suspiria can close that gap. So released on October the 28th. Released in October 2018. Luca Guadagnino directed it. A 20 million budget, 8 million worldwide. I think it came out on Amazon in a lot of territories. Around 65% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Vote for Suspiria 2018 now, folks. Thumbs up if you think it was a reasonably good remake, a genuine remake. Doesn't have to be better than the original. And thumbs down if you think it was a genuine mistake. I'll admit, I wasn't a fan. But I can appreciate that it's a fairly decent movie. But I wasn't a fan of it. I think I would give it a thumbs down. It's not a film I would go back to. Oh, look. Love it. Look at that. A surreal art house reimagining of Dario Argento's 1977 horror classic. This version trades straightforward scares for layered themes, vivid color, and intense performances. Wow, people are really appreciating this. He's an amazing director, but, you know, it's one of those films that the original Suspiria, I hold in such high regard. that when I watched it, I appreciated that he did something different, but it wasn't what I really wanted to see. I'll admit it's a good movie, but I was just like, okay, fine. I've seen it now. Not that bothered about watching it again. But it looks like most of you guys are giving it a thumbs up. There's 2, 3 thumbs down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thumbs up on this one. Okay, we'll give it to... it's a genuine remake. Next. April 15th, 2005. Just turned 20 years old. Andrew Douglas's Amityville Horror remake with Ryan Reynolds playing George Lutz, Melissa George playing Kathy Lutz, and Philip Baker Hall playing the priest. Budget of 19 million. It took 108 million worldwide. I think this was another one of the Michael Bay Platinum Dunes movies, if I remember rightly. It was one of his first ones, wasn't it? Oh, maybe his second one after Texas Chainsaw, if I remember rightly. Vote now, folks. If you think Amityville Horror is a decent remake. I don't. I love the original. I didn't like the remake whatsoever. Granted, I haven't seen it since it first came out 20 years ago, and maybe I should watch it again, but I wasn't a big fan. People are still voting on Suspiria there. Yeah, Suspiria, I think, was pretty... It was pretty clear that that was a genuine remake. Okay, so thumbs down we have from Dave. Let me just highlight that one so I know where I'm starting. Down, down, up, 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 down, down. Okay, let me just count these downs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 downs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 6 at the moment. Okay. 9. Okay. 10. Better than the one with the haunted lamp. Okay, I think that's a win for the Amityville Horror. Frank doesn't like any remakes. Let me put Amityville Horror at the top. I'm surprised by that one because I did genuinely think it was pretty dire. But I'm such a fan of the original movie. Maybe I was a little bit biased, but... Moving on to... Oh, let me just get some of the comments from Amityville Horror. Let's see what people did think. Daz says, all I know about this movie is that Ryan Reynolds is topless throughout. Don't care for the original. Very overrated. Oh, really? Okay. I think it was, you know, I remember watching the original as a kid and it scared the hell out of me. I still think there's some genuinely creepy moments in it now. John Jones says, I actually like this one. Not as much as the original Amityville, but it's an entertaining movie. Zoe Kavanagh says, better than 90% of Amityville movies. Well, that's not difficult, considering how many there are. I think there's... I remember looking into this, and there's got to be over 20 Amityville movies now. It's ridiculous. There's even an Amityville Shark or something like that, isn't there? Tony says, Amityville Remake was okay. Not a fan of the original. Little Michael Myers. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. I haven't seen you around for a little while. Love the original Amityville, but this is a good popcorn movie. Frank says, Ryan Reynolds is awful compared to Brolin. I agree. Simon Harding says, Amityville Horror, don't love it or hate it. Wasn't that bad, and Ryan Reynolds can actually act, says Alan Meggs. Better than the one with the haunted lamp. We mentioned that one already. Evil Alex says, isn't there like 80 of those Amityville films? There is. There's a lot. I don't know, Brandon, are you able to just Google how many Amityville movies there are? I think I looked at it in the past and figured out there was around about 20. Daz says Amityville is public domain, so like Dracula, there's millions of them. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Jason Lidkier says, what kind of drugs are these people on? Well, you know, everybody's got an opinion, mate. Okay, so The Crazies 2010, released on February the 26th, directed by Breck Eisner, starring Timothy Olyphant, Rhoda Mitchell, Joe Anderson, and Daniel Panabaker. A budget of 20 million. This is the remake of George A. Romero's film from 1970. Can't remember the date now. 70. Jesus. 5, 6. Can't remember. Budget of 20 million. Approximately 54.8 million worldwide, and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 72%. Vote now if you think The Crazies is a decent remake. Or is it a genuine mistake? I think it's okay. I like the original. I don't mind it. I actually probably think the remake is more palatable. In the town of Ogden Marsh, Iowa, a mysterious biological agent contaminates the water supply and turns residents into violent killers. As chaos spreads, Sheriff David Dutton, his doctor wife Judy, and 2 others must escape amid mounting paranoia and military suppression. A lot of thumbs up here. Not seeing any thumbs down so far. Oh, Kingslayer wants to be different. The Crazies remake was lame. Looks like a clear win for the Crazies. Zoe says, love the Crazies. Lots of great set pieces, very enjoyable. Daz says, meaning to watch the Crazies remake for ages. Don't care for the original, so I think it's got to be better. Chester loves the Crazies remake. Don Mack says, The Crazies, one of the few remakes I like more than the original. Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. Brandon says, I just counted 68 Amityville movies. That's hilarious. Like, people are using the name like it has some currency or something. Fucking hell. 1973, thank you, Chester. That was the Romero original. I thought it was 75 for some reason. I think that maybe that Martin 77. Oh, who cares? Michael Strong says, not seen the original, but this bored the shit out of me. Really? Okay. Brandon says the Amityville story is public domain because it is considered based on a true story. There is one called Amityville Death Toilet. Cool. Okay, so the Crazies clearly goes up to the top as a genuine remake, and then we move on to 2013's Evil Dead, directed by Fede Alvarez. Joan Levy, Shiloh Fernandez, Lou Taylor Pucci, who I've actually met and had a night out with one time. And then again, we bumped into him in Halloween 45. Frank and I did, in a bar. And Brett and Pat, I think you guys may have been with us as well. Jessica Lucas and Elizabeth Blackmore. 17 million budget for a box office of 97.5 million worldwide. Vote now, folks, if you think The Evil Dead is a worthy remake. A group of friends helps Mia detox from heroin at a secluded cabin when they discover an ancient Book of the Dead and read from it. A demonic force is unleashed, possessing and hunting them in a visceral body fight for survival. Okay, so Evil Dead 2013. I think this is going to be a lot of thumbs up. I agree. I don't think it's better than the original, but I think it comes close. The only reason I don't think it's better than the original is because it's a remake of the original, and the original is held in such, high regard, not just by me, but in general. And if it wasn't for the original, there would be no remake. It's cool when a remake comes along of a movie that wasn't that good in the first place. That's what they should do with remakes. Instead of being let down by remakes, why not remake movies that were shit in the first place and do a better job of them? I've always kind of wondered that. Yeah, Evil Dead is straight away going up into the genuine remake section there. Let's have a look at the comments here. Brett says, love the Evil Dead remake. And Daz says, the Crazies reminds him reminds me kind of Rabid, which also had a remake. Yeah, the David Cronenberg original. Yeah, I get what you mean there. King Slayer says, Amityville has more movies than James Bond and Godzilla. That's true. Mark Rainwright says, loved it, liked the sequel too. Tony says, wasn't the Evil Dead remake released in 3D too? I don't remember that. I don't remember. I'm trying to think now because it was Sony, but I can't remember whether it was 3D. It's so long ago now. It's 12 years ago. Zoe Kavanagh, can't go wrong with the Evil Dead franchise. Evil Dead remake or quasi-sequel, says Don Mac. Evil Alex says, prefer the OG, but great remake. 2 and 1 remake, Army of Darkness and Rise. Oh, that's your ranking, I guess. Totally agree, Darren, says Tony. There is no bad Evil Dead film or show. Very good franchise. My dad went to see Evil Dead, the musical, in Vegas. I was out there with him as well. And he was there like a few days before I was. And he went to see it the day before I arrived or something. And said it was great fun. Did anybody else see that? White Rose says, got to drop out. Finally heading out to see Weapons, Tatar, and Farewell. Oh, enjoy. You going out now to see Weapons? It's 11:30. I'm guessing you're British being called White Rose, unless you're British living in the US. Neil says, hey, Darren, hope all is well. Hey, Neil. And Max Dela Cruz says, Evil Dead, thumbs up. Yeah. Evil Dead goes straight to the top tier there. A genuine remake. Okay, I don't even have to... This next one, I do think is better than the original. And it's 1986's The Fly. I genuinely think it's one of the top 2 remakes of all time. Released on August the 15th, 1986. Directed by David Cronenberg. Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, and John Getz. 9 to 15 million budget with around about 60.6 million worldwide way back in 1986. 39 years ago, I apologize. 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Vote now, folks, for The Fly. Let me know what you think. I'm guessing everybody's going to give us a big thumbs up for this. And here's hoping that Disney pulls their finger out next year and gives us a 40th anniversary 4K version of this. It's the one horror title I think that physical media collectors all covet. They really want this movie in 4K. Look at that. Thumbs up everywhere. Absolutely. Possibly the best horror remake or the second best horror remake of all time. This is how you do a remake, says Daz. Alan Meg says, The Fly is in my top 5 films of all time. Have my Blu-ray sound by Goldblum. Long overdue a 4K release. You're absolutely right, Alan. And that's really cool that you've got that signed by Mr. Goldblum. I saw it on VHS when it came out. And I was just blown away. It's a really neat little 90-minute movie as well. The score's fantastic. It's just so powerful and had so much emotion. It's just a tragic love story. Has so much emotion to those final moments of the film when he's begging her to blow his brains out. It's gut-wrenching because he's not really a bad person. Something's just gone wrong and this poor guy is suffering because of it. Oh, right, he's a bloody overzealous inventor or whatever you want to call him, but it's just tragic, and every time I watch it I can't help but get emotional. Give it to Arrow. Yeah, it's Disney. It's Disney, and if you watched, I think it was Planet CHH who interviewed one of the guys from Arrow Video. They said that they tried to cut a deal with Disney to do some of their back catalogue, and they're just not interested whatsoever. However, they're just not really interested in putting anything out on physical media. What did we get recently? We've had Tombstone, and there was something else as well. Well, they did the James Cameron films, didn't they? But it's all kind of few and far between. There's not a lot of stuff coming out from Disney at all. But catalogue stuff, I mean. It's not even Barbarian. That's another thing that's been a hot topic this week, is the fact that there's no 4K release of Barbarian. Even though the director, Zach Cregger, has been banging on about it, they still haven't released it. And you'd think now would be the time for them to cash in on that. But no, nothing. Nothing at all. Turn my aircon off for a second again. Thanks, Frank. Different storyline, but both flies take the sugar. Chester says, I love the Fly remake. Be afraid, be very afraid. Great tagline. Fantastic movie, says Paul. Still have a soft spot for the originals, though. Yeah, that they originally had with the fly and the web at the end saying, help me. And that kind of, that conclusion, whereas, because somebody squats it with a brick or something, don't they? You killed a man with a fly's hand. Something along those lines. And now you've killed a fly with a man's hand on head. Something like that. But yeah, it's again, another really quite powerful original film. But I do think the remake is better. Frank says, I asked my wife to do the same thing, Darren. Shamrock says, I showed my daughter the original Fly when she was like 5 years old, terrified her, and I don't think she's ready for the remake. Fly 2 isn't bad either, says Evil Alex. I agree. I think it's okay. Thumbs up. Couldn't rewatch, though. Wow. Jordan Stevens says, just joining the stream as I rented the Megan sequel on YouTube. It's more of an action film than the first, which had more of a horror vibe. Yeah, they flipped genres with it, didn't they? A bit like what they did with, was it Happy Death Day? I think it was Happy Death Day to You. It was more of a sci-fi than a horror. Daz, one word, cheeseburger. Oh, Christ, yeah. Shamrock Balls, yeah, Master and Commander is the one that Disney have brought out from the Fox label, but they've got such a hefty back catalogue. We can't be just dealing with one a month. They've got thousands of films that films like, I want to see The Rock in 4K. I want to see Con Air in 4K and Armageddon in 4K. All these cheesy movies that are just sitting there on really poor quality Blu-rays that need zhuzhing up and putting out there. Evil Alex says Barbarian didn't even come out in Blu-ray here in Germany. I don't even. I have it on digital. Maybe it hasn't had a physical media release at all. If anybody knows, let me know. Okay, this one. So The Fly. Let me put The Fly in the top first. There we go. The next one is The Fog. I how do I put this? I don't talk about work too much, but yeah, this film came in, and a few months before it was released, and we were invited down to our theatre to watch it, and I went to watch it. Fairly excited, because The Fog is one of my favourite movies of all time, and I just couldn't believe it when I watched it. I walked out of the theatre and I thought, and I still do believe, that the movie's pretty much unreleasable. But it was released, a budget of approximately 18 million and around 46 million worldwide it took. Probably just based on the IP alone, because it certainly wouldn't be based on the reviews, because they're around about, I think they're around about 0 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Folks, vote for the remake of The Fog. You're already voting. Thumbs down. I think this is quite possibly one of the worst remakes of all time. I can't think of any upside to this movie, any redeeming qualities that it has whatsoever. In fact, I'm not even going to wait for you guys to vote. Dare anybody put a thumbs up for this and justify why you're doing that? Let's put it in here. Baffling film. Someone just gets turned into a ghost kissing someone gets turned into a ghost kissing a ghost pirate. That was just mental. I haven't watched it since that first time that I saw it. I don't own it. I refuse to. I've even been given free copies of it, and I've got rid of them. Either given them away or just left them in a drawer at work and never gone back to that drawer. Well, we've had our first bird to the Fog remake. OG is a classic. Don Mac says thumbs down. Tony says, I like the Fog remake because of the backstory. Can't compare to the Carpenter one though. You didn't give it a thumbs up. Turkey, says Paul Rose. Turkey of the Night Award. I used to have an original ghost coat. Sold it. What, from that film? You did? Okay. Brandon Collins says the Fog remake is so bad it makes me wonder why Alan Smithy didn't direct it. No, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Evil Alex said, I'm curious if anybody liked this. And Jordan Stevenson says, still don't know if the Fog remake is worth my time. And Rick M says, the bog. Kenneth says the Fog remake is even more egregious knowing that Carpenter actually had a hand in it. I get that he wants to get paid, but come on, man. Didn't Deborah Hill produce it? I'm pretty sure she did. I think it might have been one of the last things that she did produce. If I'm right. I may be wrong on that, but I think she had a hand in it. Never seen it, says Daz. I am a Tom Welling fan from Smallville, so I was tempted but wisely decided against watching. Kingslayer, the Fog remake is pure shite. Shamrock says I'm voting down on principle, and Paul says the original is one of my all-time faves too, dude. Shame we never got the TV movie sequel. Absolutely, yeah. Paul, you should read the comics. They did like 4 comics recently. I have them down there. And it's a sequel to The Fog that's set now. And it's all about Andy as a grown-up. And even Adrian Barbeau's in it. Even Carpenter's in it as Bennett again. It's really, really good. You should read them. In fact, the guy that wrote them reached out to me because I did put them on Instagram that I was reading them. And he reached out to me and said, do you want me to come on the channel to discuss them? And I was going to do it, but I don't know what happened. It just kind of, life happened and I just never got around to it. But perhaps I'll reach out to him again at some point. Don Max says, I just rewatched the Fog remake a week ago and was surprised by how much it looks so much like movies made now. Only the use of flip phones dated it. Oh, wow. Evil Alex says, put it up, Darren. Tony liked it. Put it up the top? No chance. Okay, The Grudge. Now, there's been 2 Grudge remakes recently. In the last 21 years. There's the 2004 one, and then there was one in 2018. I think it was around then, 2017, 2018. We're talking about the 2004 one here, the one by Takashi Shimizu with Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jason Behr, Cadiz Strickland, Clea Duvall, and Bill Pullman. So yeah, folks, vote on The Grudge 2004. Do you prefer the Japanese original? Or do you think The Grudge 2004 is a worthy remake? I don't think it's better than the original, but I didn't mind it. I didn't mind The Grudge remake. An American exchange student in Tokyo encounters a house cursed by a malevolent supernatural presence born of violent rage. Once it's unleashed, the curse spreads relentlessly, shifting timelines and intertwining stories with terrifying consequences. I still do think that shot when she's in the shower and the hand is in the back of her head, there's something really upsetting about that. It really does. Every time I see it, and they did it again in the remake, every time I see it, it just really unnerves me. We get a few thumbs up here. 4 thumbs up so far. Grudge remake gets a down from Kingslayer and Don Mac, but thumbs up are outdoing it at the moment. Paul Rose says, okay, really am going this time. Hills and 13 are decent, and The Thing is a masterpiece. Night, Horror Hounds. Thanks, buddy. See you soon. Okay, so mainly thumbs up for those of you that have seen it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 thumbs down there so far. Just give it a little bit longer for people to get their votes in. Another thumbs up from Tony Four Eyes. Okay. It looks like it belongs at the top. So let's put it up there. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. Darren, why did they never make a sequel? A sequel to The Fog? Oh, there was, I think there was a point where Carpenter, as Paul mentioned in the chat, they were going to do a TV movie sequel, and I think it got quite far in development and then just it went away for whatever reason. Let's have a look here. Love The Grudge. Haven't seen it in a while, but loved it, says John. Zoe Kavanagh says, I saw it twice back when it came out. Haven't seen it since, but I guess I must have liked it. Well, you must have done, I think, to go see it twice. Yeah, I'm thinking of going to see Weapons again. Loved that film. Tony Four Eyes says, struggling to remember this, but think I found it okay at the time. And then Evil Alex says, that freaking kid screaming like a cat. Yeah. Daz says, Grudge is another franchise with 20 plus films, I think. Really? Kenneth Irwin says, this Grudge was good, newer Grudge was not. Okay. There was a Grudge 2 as well, which came after this one. So there've been sort of 3 Grudge US movies in the last 20 odd years. Evil Alex says, don't mind a Fog prequel about the pirates as a period piece. Yeah, could be interesting. Darren, Deborah Hill produced Oliver Stone's World Trade Center right after she produced the Fog remake. She died shortly after. Yeah, I thought it was one of her final films. I seem to remember doing the rounds interviews, doing interviews around the time that the film was released. It just took no money in the UK at all. It's terrible. Okay, so The Grudge goes up at the top. So next we have a remake, which I think is a great remake, and it's The Hills Have Eyes from 2006. This film's bloody carnage, especially if you get that unrated version. It's absolutely, absolutely horrific. Released on March the 10th, 2006. Alexander Aja, one of my favorite horror movie directors of all time, brought us Switchblade Romance, The Hills Have Eyes, Piranha, Crawl, all sorts of other stuff as well. Great director. How much was it now? 15 million budget, 70 million worldwide. Vote now, folks, if you think this was a worthy remake to the 1977 original, the Wes Craven original. I think it's better than the original, this. Was never a massive fan of the original. I can appreciate it. There's something about this film which just is absolute mayhem in the way that Switchblade Romance is mayhem, I think. It takes its time. It's a slow burn. And then you get that moment where the family's attacked and Ted Levine's tied to that bloody, whatever he's tied to a tree or something that they're burning. And you see his eyes white over as he burns. It's just horrible. Yeah. A lot of thumbs up for this movie. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. Ken says there was a Grudge 3 as well. Okay, I hadn't realized that. Grudge 2 and 3 are okay. Grudge 3 has a good jump scare where the entire hallway is the ghost face of the... Okay, interesting. Tony 4i says, I love the original Hills, but the remake is great. Like the sequel too. Zoe says, better than the original, bleak, crazy, and exciting finale. The sequel to it is an embarrassment standing next to this film. I agree. I was so disappointed with the sequel to this film. I actually prefer the Wes Craven's Hills Have Eyes too. We get a flashback scene, a dog flashback scene, I think, in that film, don't we? Favorite remake and better than the original. I agree, Neil. The Hills Have Eyes remake, but the remake sequel is pure garbage, says Don Mac. Amazing remake, says Evil Alex. The Hills Have Eyes remake is better than Wes Craven's version, in my opinion, says Kingslayer. And Alan Meg says, Hills Have Eyes is way better than the original. I agree. I do. I genuinely think it's a fantastic remake. One of the best horror remakes out there, I think. Frank says, the opening credits scared my XHHE. What the hell's that? We aren't together now. Well, yeah. Okay. X. What does that mean, Frank? Who cares? Yeah, dog flashback in the Wes Craven one. Evil Alex says, that scene in the car with the woman and the baby, that film didn't hold back at all. Brutal as hell. Yeah, brutal as hell and scary as well. And that bloody grungy score in the background when they're getting attacked. The family gets attacked for the first time. It's fucking terrifying. The original was one of my favorites back in the day, but a big thumbs up for the remake. Yeah, the remake is going straight to the top layer here. I hope we can actually do something when we've got more titles to put up here. I hope we can fit them on the top. I think we will. I think we should be able to. I think it should default to a broader column or something. Okay, so moving on to The Last House on the Left, 2009. Directed by Dennis Leodis? Whatever. He knows who he is. Sarah Paxton, Tony Goldwyn, Monica Potter, Aaron Paul, and Garrett Dillahunt. 45.3 million worldwide box office. Budget's not specified, but I would imagine it would have been around the 15 million mark or something like that. Okay, vote now, folks, if you think Last House on the Left is a decent remake. Let's have a look at some more of these. Oh, Hills Have Eyes, of course, Frank, yeah. Neil says the cast was great too. They are in that film. Hills remake sequel has plenty of action. The soldiers getting picked off. Yeah, but there's just, I mean, there was nothing. There was no tension there. The gore was very limited in the remake. I was really surprised it was as bad as it was. Brandon says, I think it took Craven a good 10 years to become a good director. Last House on the Left was a good debut, but he was very hit or miss until Elm Street. Yeah. Deadly Blessing and what was the one? There's another one as well. Did he do Deadly Blessing? Yes, he did do Deadly Blessing. I think he started at porn though, didn't he? That's how he started. Tony 4i says, don't worry, a few of the next are going in the bottom. Okay, so let's have a look at this now. Last House on the Left. Another great remake, better than the original, says Neil. Another great, better than average original, great revenge film, says Zoe. I don't see Night of the Living Dead remake on the list. All right. Yes, it's not. I can't put everything on there. I had to leave off around about, I don't know. The internet gave me 50 to choose from. I'd be here until pissing 1 o'clock in the morning if I carried on with these. Decent remake. I don't hate it, but also it's also been a while. Daz says Last House I thought was a decent surprise. No need to rewatch it though. Yeah, all thumbs up for Last House on the Left. I really enjoyed it as well. I thought compared to the original, it's a very tastefully done remake because the original's just downright fucking nasty and horrible. I watched it recently when we were doing the Video Nasties episode. And I'd forgot now. I listened to the commentary with Wes Craven, and he was trying to defend it in some of the scenes and just absolutely losing. completely, and even said, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done this. It's a really interesting commentary. There's some horrible moments in it, absolutely horrible moments. I remember liking Last House on the Left remake more than the original. Original just made me feel like I had to wash myself afterwards. Production quality seemed quite poor. Yeah, and I honestly have a big problem with David Hess as well. In fact, in that commentary, Wes Craven talks about David Hess and says that he's not that far removed from the character that he plays in the movie. He said he was quite an unpleasant person. And, you know, the guy's done 3 movies where he's playing pretty much the same character. House on the Edge of the Park, and the other one is it Hitchhike? I think it is. Yeah. Bit of an unsavory individual. No, don't start picking ones that aren't there, for God's sake. I've given you enough. Look, the Straw Dogs remake's not there either. For God's sake, do you want to be still sat here at 3 o'clock in the morning? Okay, so Last House on the Left clearly was a favourite of yours. Lots of thumbs up there. In fact, nobody gave it a thumbs down by the looks of things. So we'll put that at the top. And then that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 titles left. The next one is The Omen from 2006. Julia Stiles, Pete Postlethwaite, David Thewlis, Mia Farrow. Directed by, it doesn't say here who directed it, but I think, was it John Moore who directed it? Is it the guy who did Flight of the Phoenix? I think it was him. I think it was John Moore. 25 million budget, 120 million worldwide it took. This wasn't a good remake at all. I don't believe this was argue with me if you want, but I think the Omen remake was a massive missed opportunity. Vote now, folks, if you think that this was a genuine remake or a genuine mistake. I'm not going to bite anymore. I've not responded to your suggestions for remakes. We'd be going on forever. Where's Frankenstein? What about all the Dracula movies? A slick update of the original demonic child horror. Julia Stiles brings a modern conflicted mother's perspective, while Damien's malevolence gets a chilling upgrade, but critics say the remake adds little new. No, it was dull. I shut it off halfway through. Too similar to the original to be good. The Omen remake was awful and a disgrace, says Kingslayer. Disgrace? Disgrace. Don Mac says the Omen remake, although I do like its release date being 666. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Thumbs down across the board. Actually don't mind that remake, says Evil Alex. Poor stuff. The first, the recent first Omen is much better. I agree. I really liked the first Omen. Rather watch Omen 4 than the Omen remake. Evil Alex says I've never seen the sequels. Sequels are okay. Like Damien Omen 2's decent. Thank you, Brandon. I thought it was John Moore. And Final Conflict, I actually quite like in its own way as well. Shamrock says the first time I watched The Omen was a box set with the remake in there. I didn't see the point in the remake. No, I don't either. Absolutely don't know. I thought you'd have Nosferatu remake, Darren. Stop it. I'm not biting. Okay, The Omen stinks and is going at the bottom. Thank you for the votes, folks. There wasn't very many thumbs up in there. I think I can only see one. Is it one? Yeah. Okay, next up is Gore Verbinski's The Ring from 2002. Remake of Ringu. Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, Brian Cox, and David Dorfman. A budget of 48 million. Jesus. A worldwide gross of 249.3 million. This was a huge hit. 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. Released on October the 18th, 2002. Vote now, folks, if you think The Ring was a worthy sequel. I think I liked it. I thought it was okay. There's a really good jump scare in there. The girl in the cupboard. Really cool. Michael Strong says it's a no for me. Shocking remake. Interesting. Dave gives it the thumbs up. Neil Tambo says snore. Duke likes it. Neil, that's not a vote, though. I'm not counting snore as a vote. Ronnie sends in 199 and says, just got off work. Love you. Love you too, Ronnie. Thank you, buddy. I'll put that to my Disneyland fund. Zoe Kavanagh says, brilliant in every way. Hans Zimmer's score is one of his best. The atmosphere is creepy and very unnerving. Yeah, kind of universally liked is this film. I can only see Shamrock is the party pooper on this one. Daz says, never seen any Ring film. I think one of the scary movies has ruined it for me, though. Yeah, I guess so. They've just ruined a lot of films, especially the Scream movies at the time. And that was the same company making them as well. Well, not ruined them, but, you know, for that period, I think there was a period where you had, I think, Scary Movie and then Scream 3. And so it just kind of, the two got blurred. It's difficult to take a Scream film seriously. As far as, you know, you do take them seriously after the Scary Movie franchise. Jordan Stevenson says, picked this up in the charity shop last week. Some good scare moments. Max De La Cruz says The Omen, the original is way better, but I have some nostalgia for it. So looking at this, it looks like Ring is going at the top as being a decent remake, a genuine remake. Thanks, Neil. I don't think it makes much difference, though. I think it's pretty much universally lauded. Shamrock says, I've only seen the remake of The Ring, not the original. Okay, cool. Next up, 2003's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Marcus Nispel. October 17th was the release date. Jessica Biel, Jonathan Tucker, Erica Learson, Mike Vogel, and Eric Balfour. A $9.5 million budget, 107 million worldwide. It's a big hit. Only 37% on Rotten Tomatoes, which surprises me. That surprises me. Vote now if you think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was an enjoyable remake. I remember going to see an advanced screening of this and was quite surprised. What I did really love about this is that some of you may not know or may know, but I'm a massive Peter Gabriel fan. And they used a Peter Gabriel track in the trailer for this movie called Signal to Noise. The latter half of the trailer for this film is the Peter Gabriel music, and that really made me happy at the time. But yeah, it was a great atmosphere watching this in an advanced screening a few weeks before it came out, and it does surprise me that it's 37% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, because I was in a screening with a load of critics and they seemed to all really enjoy it, and as did you guys as well. Look, across the board, pretty much thumbs up. John Jones says, for the longest time, I preferred this over the original. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I still think it's a great film, but I do think the original is the better movie for sure. Mark Wainwright says, I like the Chainsaw remake for a couple of reasons. Rick M says, TCM remake isn't as good as the original, but it's still worthwhile. It's an interesting take on the story. Alan Megg says, this TCM is better than the original, in my opinion, and I know not many will agree with me. I think if you'd have asked me, Alan, 20 years ago when I first saw this, I would have agreed with you. But I think, I don't know, there's something really special about that original film. And certainly over the last 20 years, I've just grown to love it more and more, especially with the decent physical media that we've got out there of it, you know, especially the Second Sight box set, which is just awesome. Love Peter Gabriel myself. Yes, that's a great track from him, Darren. Yeah, it works really well in the trailer. It's really creepy. Chester says, the cop was so boring for me, I couldn't stand him. Brandon says, Eric Balfour was originally cast in Seabiscuit as the horse. Hey. And Jordan Stevenson said, had the prequel and remake on DVD and enjoyed watching them back to back. Yeah, the beginning. Do you mean the beginning? Because the beginning is, I think, is really fucking good. And I'm really, because the two of these movies, the 03 and the beginning, are coming out on 4K very soon with Arrow, which I've got on order. I can't wait for them to come through. They're starting to ship at the moment. Okay, so Texas Chainsaw goes right to the top, which leaves us with released on June the 25th, 1982. John Carpenter with Kurt Russell, Wilfred Brimley, T.K. Carter, David Clennon, Keith David, Richard Dysart, Charles Hallahan, Richard Masur. What else? What else can we say? Ennio Morricone, Rob Bottin. It's The Thing. 15 million budget. A domestic gross of just 19.6 million. Although some sources note that it's up to 20.8 million worldwide. So was a bit of a disaster on release, unfortunately. Yeah, it's The Thing. Set in a remote... Vote now, folks. You might as well put those thumbs up in there. I defy anyone to put a thumbs down on this in there. If you do, you have to justify it. Set in a remote Antarctic research station, a group of scientists encounters a shape-shifting alien that assimilates and imitates organisms, including fellow team members. Paranoia and mistrust spiral as survival becomes uncertain and no one knows who is still human. Look at that. Chester Franklin says, I love The Thing. Definitely Carpenter masterpiece. The Thing is awesome, says Mark Wainwright. Terrible movie, says Daz. Joking, of course. Look at that. It's just full of love. Chester Frank says, thanks, Daz. That's his name. What did Daz say? Okay. Let's move the thing up to the... Whoops. Let's move the thing up to the top there. And then we go to The Wicker Man, Nick Cage, a Neil LaBute's remake from 2006, September the 1st, 2006. 40 million budget. What the fuck did they spend 40 million on with this? Probably most of it went to Nick Cage and his alimony or something. 38.8 million worldwide box office, so it didn't even break even. Rotten Tomatoes score of 15%. Vote now for The Wicker Man, folks. I mean, the original's amazing, absolutely amazing. But yeah, how do you feel about this remake? I don't think anybody liked this film. Yeah. Really, Michael Strong? You wanted me to... Zoe Kavanaugh says, hilarious, perfect for a few laughs with friends, so bad it's great, abysmally awesome. Okay, we got to get some more thumbs down in here. I've seen this in the cinema with an old girlfriend, not a fan of any version. Really? Okay. I really like the Edward Woodward film. Yeah, there's a few thumbs. Oh, Mark's voting. Max is voting for The Thing there. Nick Cage punching a woman while dressed as a bear is amazing. Yeah, I guess so. Bees are expensive, says Shamrock. Yeah, lots of thumbs down here. Duke, really? Are you behind a little bit here? You're voting for The Wicker Man as a thumbs up? On the whole, it's thumbs down, though. So The Wicker Man goes right at the bottom there. Okay, moving on to we've got the last two now. So, released on, there's no release date apart from 2001. 13 Ghosts, directed by Stephen Beck, starring Tony Shalhoub, Embeth Davids, Matthew Lillard, Shannon Elizabeth, and F. Murray Abraham. A budget of 42 million. Expensive movie. Vote now, folks. Took 68.5 million worldwide. Yeah. 13 Ghosts. Did you enjoy it? This was one that Sony had the rights for in the UK. I remember it well. Wasn't that much of a fan at the time, but I watched it years later and actually thought, some really quite inventive and creative creatures and kills in this film. Brandon says, I believe that opening theme is actually Carpenter and Howarth. Morricone got sole credit for scoring the film, but only did about half of it. A lot of his unused stuff was there. Yeah, completely. And I think that, out of respect, I think Carpenter did the majority of that score, but credited Morricone anyway, just out of respect. You can just tell. There's nothing in there to me that shouts Morricone at all. There isn't. It just feels like Carpenter and Howarth throughout. Okay, so this is going to be might be a bit of a mixed bag. Zoe Kavanagh said, I tried but could never get into 13 Ghosts. Thumbs down. There's 3 thumbs up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 thumbs down. Any more for 13 Ghosts? We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thumbs up, and 1, 2, 3 thumbs down. Looks like it's a win for 13 Ghosts, a genuine remake. I wonder how many of you have seen the original though. When a Stranger Calls, released on February 3rd, 2006, directed by Simon West, he of Con Air and the General's Daughter. Camila Bell, Brian Geraghty, Katie Cassidy, and Clark Gregg. A budget of 15 million, box office of approximately 67.1 million worldwide. So worked quite well, I guess. 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not really, not, the critics weren't fans of this. This is one whereas the original is really only famous for its first 15, 20 minutes. The rest of the film is just so-so. But the opening 20 minutes of the original film is so good, but you kind of forget that the rest of the movie is a bit of a letdown. When a Stranger Calls, the remake takes that opening 20 minutes and drags it out pretty much for the duration of the movie. And I thought it was quite effective. I didn't mind it at all. So vote now, folks. Let us know. This is your last one, and then we'll have a little kind of roundup at the end as to what we think is the best remake out of the ones that we consider genuine remakes. So yeah, vote for When a Stranger Calls. John Jones says, can't lie, I love When a Stranger Calls remake very much. That's cool. I know Dave's a big fan as well. He actually made a short movie based around it. Don Max says, I didn't see When a Stranger Calls remake, so abstaining from voting. Okay. Never seen and turned the original off after the opening, says Daz. And Stranger Calls remake is actually not bad. Okay, what have we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Evil Alex says, shouldn't have shown the face, though, at the end. Yeah, I kind of remember that, yeah. Nick says, never seen it, but love the first 20 minutes of the original. I think everyone does. I think it's one of those classic movies, which obviously things like Scream really borrowed from. But you could argue that When a Stranger Calls was borrowing from Black Christmas as well, I guess. Tony says the original has a great opening, but it's a bore after that. So what have we got here? 1, 2, yeah. The thumbs up win for When a Stranger Calls. You guys think it's a reasonably decent remake. So that goes in the genuine remake section. Okay, so what I want to do is, I think that we should have a little poll. I think let's have a little poll for what we feel is the best remake here out of the ones we've got at the top. So best remake, I would say, and I'm going to pick these, The Thing, obviously, The Fly. What options should we have here? Friday the 13th, no. Fright Night, Halloween, House of Wax, I Spit on Your Grave, It, Maniac, My Bloody Valentine, Evil Dead, The Grudge, Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes. I think I'm going to put The Hills Have Eyes. And then one final option of... What should we add in? What should we add in? I'm tempted to go either... We've got one more option that we can add, which should be, I reckon, Evil Dead or Texas Chainsaw Massacre out of those. Okay, let's do Texas Chainsaw. It always seems to be a fan favorite. Okay. Let's just say, let's be bold on this. Best remake of all time. Vote now, folks. The poll is in the chat. You've got a choice of The Thing, The Fly, The Hills of Eyes, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's see which way this goes. I have a feeling it's going to be The Thing, but we'll see. Wow. 15 votes so far. There's still 47 of you in the chat. We did have 70 at one point. It's been a long episode. 19 votes, 20 votes. The Thing is running away with it. No love for The Hills of Eyes in there. Interesting. 21 votes. Still The Thing at 67%. We'll keep that going. We'll keep that going in the background. It's bloody hot in this room. I'm going to have to go very shortly. Let me pull this back over to the other screen. There we go. So what's going on? Frank and I are probably going to do another 90s episode very soon. We did think about going live on Sunday to talk maybe about Alien, the TV show, Alien Earth, which I'm hearing good stuff about. Frank really seemed to like it. He's going live tomorrow at 8 p.m. UK time, which would be 3 p.m. Eastern. And he's going to talk about best male actors in the Friday the 13th franchise. I think I've got that right. Pretty sure, but it's definitely 3 p.m. tomorrow that he's going live. Hopefully, fingers crossed, with a fixed and repaired TV screen. A computer monitor. He's got one of those all-in-one things, which sadly got damaged the other day. Frank, is it repaired? Hopefully you got it repaired today. I think you did. So Frank's going to go live tomorrow. So be sure to check out that. I don't know if Brandon can put the link in the chat. I know Frank did send me it earlier. Let me see if I can find the link, and then I can direct you all over there. You just have a look. Very quickly. Here we are. I have it. Copy. Let me just put that in the chat for you all, so you can follow my good partner in crime. If you're not subscribed to his channel, please go over and subscribe to it. The link there is for his live stream tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in for that. I'm gonna drop some more content over the weekend. I've had a few things arrive which I want to talk about, so I'm going to drop some more content over the weekend. we're also going to do a 90s episode. I think we're up to 90. What are we up to? Did we just do 92 or 93? I think we did 90. Yeah, we did 93. We're on 94 next. Hopefully, it's a better year than 93 was, because I think there was some real. What was it, Frank? Munchies or something like that you were bigging up or making me research. I can't remember now, but yeah, there was some pretty awful movies in 1993. But hopefully 1994 is going to be a better year, and we'll keep going with that. Hopefully around until we catch up, until we get back up to where we are now. Also, tomorrow you'll see this space has been a bit blank behind me for the last few days, or for the last week or so. I have some really cool stuff that's going to go on the wall, hopefully tomorrow. So the next time you see me, might be some little changes behind me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. They're getting delivered tomorrow, and I'm going to install them tomorrow, and it'll just brighten things up. It looks a bit bare at the moment behind me, so it'll just brighten things up a little. Just did 92. Did we just do 92? So it's the best of 93 next. 93 is next. That's right. 92 was a bad year. 93 is next. Yeah, so tomorrow, new stuff being installed in here. I'm really excited about this because it was so difficult to get hold of in the UK because they didn't do very many of these. But I just received that, which I'm so excited about, which is the most gorgeous box set with, as you can see at the bottom there, 1 UHD, 3 Blu-rays, a DVD, and a CD, plus an amazing book with a great picture of Fulci on the cover, which I can't wait to get stuck into. It's a fantastic box set done by the guys at Grindhouse Releasing, which is Bob Murawski, who is an Oscar-winning editor who I've had the pleasure of meeting on a number of occasions because he did the first 3 Raimi Spider-Man films. So I've worked with him on a few occasions, and actually he's gifted me a few Grindhouse Releasing Blu-rays in the past, which has been really nice of him. But I haven't seen him since Spider-Man 3, so nearly 20 years since I've seen him. But he's still plugging away with Grindhouse Releasing, and he used to run this company with Sage Stallone, who sadly passed away. But yeah, that's their recent release, and honestly, a lot of companies Disney could take a leaf out of Grindhouse Releasing's book, because this is just such a fantastic box set. It really is. I think that's about it, folks. Thank you again for joining us. Like I say, we'll be back maybe Sunday. If not, it'll be Monday or Tuesday with TSL Movie Podcast. But hopefully some Mr. Sandsman content will drop this weekend. Friday night, frankly speaking, Friday the 13th episode, 3 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. I'm sure Frank will appreciate it if you go over there and show him some support. Cheers, guys. I'll be back with another live this time next week as well. So lots of good stuff to look forward to. And I shall see you very soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.